Everybody's at different stages in this learning game of the Great Awakening because we're all waking up across the country. This is a biblical thing. Nobody made it up, at least not on this earth anyway. But we know exactly what's going to go on, approximate time frames of what's going to happen. And right now we're in an exciting time to be alive.
That's one way of looking at it.
This is a war between good and evil. It's also a war between we the people and the Bar Association. The Bar Association is a cause of the vast majority of problems we have in America and the world. They own and control everything. I got a good friend. He's fairly young. His name is Justin. And Justin sailed through high school. He has the ability to read and retain every word, every page number. Look it up later, know where it is, what book it came out of, who wrote it. Just blows my mind, his level of competency. 2 years of law school, and he got a doctorate after high school. Probably one of the youngest attorneys I've ever seen. Passed the bar on his first try with an 800 score. Nobody does that. And he went to work for one of the largest law firms in Seattle. And at his celebration party, they rented the Space Needle for a celebration party for the night. So the entire law firm had it. They had dinner, and then Justin's standing there, and he's looking out the windows at the city lights of Seattle. And the main partner of the law firm walked up and put his arm around Justin, and he said, "What do you see out there? Who do you think controls all of that? We've got some of the largest companies in the world. We've got Microsoft and Amazon and Boeing right here in Seattle. Who do you think controls those? Who do you think controls the little mom and pop stores down there on the pier in downtown? Who do you think controls the state of Washington's government and all the little municipalities and the county governments? Who do you think controls all that?" And Justin proceeded to say, "Well, we the people elect our representatives and they control government, and the CEOs make the decisions for the corporations." And the leading law partner let out a big old belly laugh, and he says, "No, not one CEO, not one legislator makes a decision. Not one invoice, not one piece of sales literature, not one contract is written by any of them. They're written by us. They don't make a decision without running it past their legal department. We, the Bar Association, makes the decisions that run the world." And Justin looked him in the eye, shook his hand, and said, "I quit." And now he's helping the people with the law. He tore his bar card up and he walked out and he threw it away. Okay? I'm really proud of him. Over the years, I've probably got 20 or 30 attorneys to tear up their bar cards. And I've got judges that help us. Because they understand, once I've taught them the basics, that they didn't know what the law was. They didn't know its origin. They didn't know what it came from. If I was to ask you, where did the law come from? What's its origin? How did we arrive at this thing called law, where a small group of men could put something down on paper and try and hold me, a man, accountable? Could you answer that question? You watched my video, okay? No, actually it wasn't. It was Genesis 1:26 through 28. God gave me man dominion over the land, the air, and the water, and this is law. The land became common law, common to all mankind. It's property, it's equity, it's rights. It's our rights. They're unalienable. What does unalienable mean? They cannot place a lien upon our rights. That's what it means. Those rights are unalienable. It has to do with things of property nature, patents and grants and securities, gold and silver, commodities, things we own, right? Things we own. That's what common law is. It deals with properties and it deals with our rights. The air, which is the highest form of law, the air is above the land, which is above the water. The air is ecclesiastical or canon law, which is trust law. All things held in trust, held in the benefit of another, are heirs. It's trust law. That's all it is. In Genesis 1:26 through Genesis 2:25 is a trust indenture. Why did God start that off right in the very beginning of the Bible? He put the world under trust to mankind. We're the trustees. He's the executor. He placed it to us to manage for the benefit of our beneficiaries, our future heirs, for generations to come. Lives on in perpetuity forever. And what is the definition of forever? Until the end of the earth. Forever is till the end of the earth. Then we're in eternity. Okay? So it lives on in perpetuity forever. The jurisdiction of the water is admiralty law. It is commerce. It's contract law. Things held in contract with another. Now, there's some interesting elements to a true contract that the Bar Association doesn't want to teach you. The Bar Association teaches you there's got to be an agreement, consideration, and both people have to sign, and you've got a contract. Well, that's not true. There's 8 elements of a contract, okay? But one of the most important of those elements is a contract has to be between like kind. Can a man write a contract with a man? Yes. And when I use the word man today, that means mankind. I'm not being gender specific, it's mankind. It's our species. Okay, so a man can have a contract with a man, but a corporation has to have a contract with a corporation. Can a man have a contract with a corporation? No. Can't. It's like kind versus like kind. Why did they put things in corporations? Anybody know? Why did they start doing that?
When or liability? To limit the liability just to that corporation so that the people who are in the corporation cannot be sued, only the assets of the corporation.
You're exactly right. It's to limit liability. So if a man has integrity, purpose, knows all 8 elements of a contract and writes a proper contract where there's a meeting of the minds, there's full and honest disclosure of the terms and conditions of the contract, there's equal consideration where one person gives something up and one receives, and the other gives something up and the other receives. It has to be a two-way street. If that's true, why do they have to form corporations? No, I'm serious. The reason is because lack of integrity. If we had integrity, we'd never need a corporation. If we were honest, we'd never need a corporation. Corporations exist so that people can be taken advantage of. Yeah, because they have no integrity. So that's a pretty sad thing. And one of the main things we got to learn is the United States of America is not the same thing as the United States. It's not the same thing as USA Inc. Salt Lake County is not the same thing as the county of Salt Lake. Salt Lake City is not the same thing as Salt Lake City Incorporated. Okay? You are not the same thing as your all caps name. So my name, David Lester Straight, spelled in all capital letters, is not the same as David Lester Straight in upper and lower case. What happened is a vessel was created. A vessel. And the law clearly talks about vessels over and over and over again. Why am I talking so much about law? It's because kindergarten through 12th grade, how many law classes did you have? Why? That's right. The moment you turned 15 years old and got a permit to operate a motor vehicle that you didn't even need, you've been dealing with the law. And yet, you never had any classes. They teach you algebra. How much algebra have you used since you got out of high school? No, most people haven't. Okay? So they teach us things we don't necessarily need and leave out the things that we do. I thought it was a government-funded, government-controlled curriculum, government school system. At some point in time, somebody's got to take responsibility for our education. Who's that going to be? I don't think it should be. It should be our parents. You know, it really should. Our parents are responsible. That's one of the reasons I feel so lucky. I had great parents, and they taught me to question authority. Now, my school that I went to told me not to question authority. So in my early days, my parents went in one ear and out the other, and the school sunk in, and I obeyed authority in the early days. Okay? And that always gets you into trouble. So, what city are we in? Riverton? So if the city of Riverton police drove in right now, who are they? Do you know?
Statute and code enforcers.
Well, that's right. It says policy on the side of their car. Police is policy. They're policy enforcement agents. Doesn't say law enforcement. It's policy. Supreme Court of the United States says rules, codes, statutes, and ordinances are not law. They're not law. They're corporate bylaws. They're for employees of the corporation to follow. So, are you an employee of the corporation of the city of Riverton? Not for this discussion. Okay. You're not. But you are, because you consented. And what I mean by that is, you volunteered and you call yourself. You self-determine. Your very first foundational cornerstone unalienable right is your right of self-determination. The church teaches it as free agency, right? That's the right to self-determine. What's right, what's wrong. So you self-determine that you're a citizen, a person, and a resident. And if you are, you need CPR because you're dead. You're a dead entity. You ever heard the term, all are equal in the law? Rich or poor, black or white, you all have equal standing, things like that. It's because you're all dead. What is an indictment? An indictment's a true bill. It says that right at the bottom of every indictment. It's a bill, it's an invoice. Did you bother to ask how much is the bill if you were indicted? No, nobody does. So you're brought up on charges. If you don't pay the charges, you're asked to bond. If you don't pay the bond, your body is held as surety for the bond. Well, they collect from your Cesta QV trust that you don't even know you have. Do you understand those are all banking terms? So what is a court? Look up the word court in a legal dictionary. It says C bank, C post office. You look up the word judge, it says C banker, C postmaster. Everything is banking. Do you know you have a 72-hour right of rescission on everything? You get a ticket from a police officer and he gives you a ticket for speeding down the road. You can rescind that ticket within 72 hours. So I didn't ask, do we have any police officers in the room? Any attorneys? Any government agents? That's a shame. I wish you guys had some.